What if the biggest reason you feel stuck isn't your job, isn't your past, isn't your circumstances? What if it's the stories you tell yourself? What if you are not trapped, but simply avoiding responsibility? What if being wrong isn't weakness, but the door to growth? What if failure isn't proof you can't do it, but proof that you are actually trying? And what if one day, when life is almost over, you realize you spent too much time chasing approval and not enough time choosing meaning? Today, we are talking about the uncomfortable truth that set you free. Welcome back to my podcast, Books and Becoming. Today, we'll cover chapter 5 through 9 of the book, Subtle Art of Not Giving IF. This episode will dive into your beliefs and might make you uncomfortable. So, fasten your seatbelt and ride along with me. Chapter 5. You are always choosing. The simple message here is you can't control everything that happens to you, but you always have control over how you respond. Author is arguing that life is unpredictable. You cannot control other people's behavior, unexpected failures, health challenges, economic challenges, criticisms, or rejection, past mistakes. And many of our frustrations come from trying to control things that are simply out of our control. But what we do control is our perspective, our responses, our next action. Life always presents two options when every event happens. It is up to you which one you want to choose. For instance, you're driving on the highway. You are already running late for work. Traffic is heavy. Your mind is racing with meetings, deadlines, responsibilities. And suddenly, someone comes up fast behind you, tailgating, clearly impatient, signaling to squeeze into your lane in front of you. And instantly something happens inside you. No way. I was here first. Why should I let this guy in? He thinks he owns the road. You feel that surge of frustration, anger, ego. And now you have two choices. Choice one, react with ego. Speed up. Close the gap. Refuse to give space. And suddenly, both of you are tense. The other driver gets more aggressive, and now it's no longer just driving, it's competition. And here's the scary part, especially here in Texas, road rage is real. What started as a tiny moment of irritation could turn into dangerous driving, an accident, hours lost, or worse. All because of one reaction. Choice 2, respond with awareness, take a breathe, and realize if I let him in, what do I really lose? Maybe half a second? That's it? So you slow down just slightly, create a space, let him merge, and instantly the tension disappears. No battle, no escalation, no risk. You're still going to reach your destination. The situation was the same in both scenarios. Same traffic, same driver, same stress. The only difference was your reaction. And that reaction determined whether the moment became a peaceful continuation of your day or a potential dangerous confrontation. We often think we are reacting to reality, but most of the time we are reacting to ego. Fairness, control. Ask yourself, is being right worth risking your peace? Sometimes maturity is realizing you don't need to win every moment, especially the ones that don't matter. You cannot control who drives next to you, but you can for sure control who drives your emotions. There are these kinds of micro situations that exist in our life every single day. Situation awareness and choosing the right option can save us from future regret. This is powerful because when you focus on what you can control, you stop feeling like a victim of life. We want to move from why is this happening to me to how do I respond to this situation in a way that helps me grow. Example, two people lose their job. One says, "This is unfair, my life is ruined." Another says, "This is painful, but maybe this is an opportunity to learn something new." Same event, different reactions, different outcomes. Being stuck in an adverse situation leads to unwanted results. But accepting reality and embracing opportunity can lead to unimaginable achievements. The author argues that avoiding responsibility is also a choice. He says, even when we avoid responsibility, we are still choosing. Doing nothing is still a decision. Avoiding is still an action. It is easy to give up, but it requires determination and courage to turn a situation around in your favor. Sometimes we say, "I didn't choose this. I had no option. It just happened." But often we are choosing indirectly, choosing silence instead of communication, choosing comfort instead of growth, choosing distraction instead of change, choosing fear instead of action. And here is the hard truth: not deciding is still deciding. You're probably deciding to give up, to stop fighting. Fighting for the right reasons could give you a second chance. But accepting everything as fate may let you down in a guilt and sorrow. Taking responsibility doesn't mean blaming yourself or everything. It means accepting. I may not control what happened, but I control what happens next. The mindset creates power, ownership, emotional strength. Many of us wait for motivation. We wait for perfect timing. But growth begins when you say, "Maybe I didn't choose the situation, but I choose my response." Life doesn't always give us control over events, but it always gives us responsibility over our response. And sometimes the biggest decision we make is whether we stay forward or stay where we are. Every one of us process life differently, but with a positive mindset and resiliency, we can overcome any challenge. Chapter 6. You are wrong about everything, but so am I. One of the most humbling ideas from this chapter is this: we like to believe our opinions and beliefs are correct, but in reality, we are probably wrong about many things. And surprisingly, that's not bad news. That's the truth and the path to growth. The author argues growth requires questioning your assumptions. We all carry invisible assumptions about life: who we are, what success looks like, how relationships should work, what happiness means, what we are capable of. The problem is we rarely question them because they feel like the truth. If you never question your thinking, you stay trapped inside your current identity. Growth doesn't happen when you confirm what you already believe. Growth happens when you ask, "What if I'm wrong? What if there is another approach? What if there is another side of the story?" Many human advancements happen because someone asked, "What if?" What if gives birth to "why not?" Example, someone believes, "I'm bad at public speaking. So they never try and they stay stuck. But we know technical skills can only take us so far. Communication accelerates growth and recognition. Another example, I need everyone's approval. So they avoid conflict and lose authenticity. Another example I can give is I must feel confident before starting. And you know what happened? They never start their dream project. Starting the podcast put me in that mode for quite some time. But I'm grateful I overcame that hurdle because now I get to share my perspective with you all. Our beliefs quietly shape our behavior. Growth begins the moment you stop defending your identity and stop questioning it. Being wrong is necessary for improvement. Most people avoid being wrong because it hurts the ego. But being wrong is information. It shows you where learning begins. You learn to walk by falling. You learn business by making mistakes. You learn relationships through misunderstandings. You learn confidence by doing things awkwardly. Failure and being wrong are not weakness, they are progress. When you attach your identity to being right, you stop learning. You resist feedback, you avoid challenges. But when you accept being wrong, curiosity increases, growth accelerates, ego decreases. The goal isn't to always be right, the goal is to become better. Chapter 7. Failure is the way forward. Most of us grow up believing failure is something to avoid. We are taught don't make mistakes, don't look foolish, don't fail in front of others. But Mark Manson flips this idea completely. Failure is not the opposite of success, it is the path to success. Until you taste the bitterness of failure, you can't fully appreciate the sweetness of success. Avoiding failure prevents success. Many people don't fail because they don't even try. They stay safe by not starting the business, not speaking their ideas, not changing careers, not expressing their feelings. Failure feels uncomfortable, but avoiding failure means avoiding growth. Failure isn't what stops progress. Fear of failure is what stops progress. Every skill is built on repeated mistakes. Improvement is messy repetition. Mistakes are not proof that you are bad, they are proof that you are practicing. So instead of asking, how do I avoid failure? Ask, what can I learn from the attempt? Success comes from iteration, trying, failing, learning, adjusting, and trying again. Chapter 8. The importance of saying no. Let me ask you something. How many times have you said yes when you really meant to say no? Yes to extra work, yes to unnecessary drama, yes to people pleasing, yes to things that drain you. Every yes costs you something. Imagine this. You have a long day at work. You are tired, mentally drained, and then your boss asks, can you stay a little longer? We need this done. You hesitate because you want to look committed, responsible, dedicated. So you say, yes. But that yes means something. It means you miss dinner with your family. You miss time with your kids. You cancel the gym. You go home stressed. and the next day, you're even more exhausted. Now, staying late once isn't wrong, but if you always say yes without intention, you slowly, quietly build a life you never actually choose. Remember, time is limited, energy is limited, attention is limited. If you don't say no to what doesn't matter, you can fully say yes to what does. Saying no is not rejection, it's alignment. Meanings come from commitment, and commitment requires sacrifice. Chapter 9, and then you die. I know that title sounds heavy, but this chapter is not about fear, it's about clarity. When you accept that life is temporary, something shifts inside us. We stop wasting time on things that don't matter. Unaware of life's uncertain end, we postpone meaningful conversation, personal growth, difficult decisions, pursuing what truly matters. We assume, I'll do it later, but time is finite. When you remember that life is temporary, ego battles fall small. Comparison loses power. External validation becomes less attractive. You begin asking deeper questions. What kind of person do I want to become? What relationships truly matter? What am I doing with my limited time? Seeking status answers, how do others see me? Seeking purpose answers, why does my life matter to me? You can achieve external success and still feel internally lost. Death doesn't make life meaningless, it makes life precious. Because time is limited, our choice carry weight. The goal isn't to avoid death. The goal is to live in a way where when the end comes, we know we spent our energy on what truly mattered. Let me share a story about one of my managers. He was in his early 60s, a hardworking man, disciplined, responsible, the kind of person who dedicated his entire life to work. He had just built a brand new house. He was preparing for retirement. And I remember how excited he was. He would talk about the kitchen counters, the new floors, the backyards, all the little details. He kept saying, once I retire, I'm finally going to enjoy this place. For decades, his life had been work, work, work. And now, for the first time in a long time, he was genuinely looking forward to something. Then COVID happened. The world shut down. We're all working remotely. During one of our one-on-one meeting, he sounded different. He asked me something that stayed with me. Do you think we wait too long to enjoy life? Should we really wait until retirement? There was uncertainty in his voice, concern about the world, concern about time. Not long after that, he got sick. He ended up in the hospital, in the ICU. He improved slightly and came back home to recover. His family was around, but not every moment. One day, his oxygen tube came off. By the time his family found him, it was too late. He was rushed back to the hospital. They tried to save him, but they couldn't. He had spent his entire life working hard, saving, planning, waiting, swallowing stress, swallowing ego, postponing enjoyment for later. And when later finally arrived, he barely had time to live it. His retirement dreams unfinished. I share this story not to create fear, but to create awareness. Because if he had known his time was close than he thought, maybe he would have traveled sooner. Maybe he would have retired earlier. Maybe he would have said no a few more times. Maybe he would have lived more fully. Now, the one undeniable truth of the life is this: time is limited and death is certain. And when you truly understand that, you stop postponing what matters. You start appreciating what's around you. You ask yourself, what are you waiting for? In our next episode, I'll be covering the book called Power of Now. That book dives even deeper into the idea of presence and living fully in the moment. Until then, appreciate what you have, protect your time, and live intentionally. Thank you for listening. Please feel free to leave your feedback in a comment. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. Thank you.